Sports Live is tonight. It's Midnight Madness, and we're coming to you from Brownsville, Texas. I'm Joe Bowling on Rio Sports Live, and we're at the home of the St. Joe Bloodhounds. Tino Villarreal to join me. Coach, 5 years ago, Rio Sports Live started right here. And here we are again, another year.
I think it's fantastic, Joe, because 5 years ago you told me about a big dream, and I don't think anybody could really imagine it the way you did. And just watching Real Sports be all over the state and all the plans you have coming for it, covering athletes and every sport is amazing. You've done a great job, and all of us, coaches, athletes, parents, we're in debt to Real Sports. We love you guys.
Well, we love you too, because football season, we wait for it all summer long. We wait through the hot months. It is hot still, but here we are, Midnight Madness in St. Joe. What does that mean to you to start the season right here, right now?
Well, 7 years ago, we started this tradition here when I became head coach at St. Joe, and we just wanted to show the Valley that we're just so eager to start football that we couldn't wait till the morning. We had to be here at the stroke of midnight, and so we're excited to be out here. We're doing what we do, kicking off Valley football. We couldn't be more excited.
Let's talk about your team, Coach. You've talked about off camera with me, but if ever there were a year where you were looking around saying, who's going to fill some shoes, this may be the most challenging yet.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those years where we're looking for people to get excited to come out and play and see who rises to the top. We got a lot of new faces out here, a lot of positions to be filled, so we're excited for that.
Well, quick thing, I know you got to get out there. The players just took the field, so this thing is going to get grinding. But let's go over what fans can expect that's going to be watching this here this evening. What is entailed in Midnight Madness for Brownsville St. Joseph?
Well, especially right now that we have a lot of new people out here, we usually like to come out here when we got a veteran team and at the stroke of midnight try to run 50 plays in one shot. That's not going to be tonight. Tonight we're out there. We're going to get some kids to warm up. We're going to get some kids to really focus on technique and very basic things, put them through a little circuit, and then get some offense versus some defense just so we can put them on there in camera.
Well, let's put some numbers to it. When our preview magazine comes out, it's going to show returners. And on offense, Coach, and on defense combined, it's less than 10.
Less than 10, Joe. We have 3 on offense and 4 on defense, so we've got 7 returners. We've been here before 4 years ago, and here we are again. It just means that it's opportunity for me. It's an opportunity for someone to rise to the top. Like I said, new faces that come out here. We recruited our own hallways. We brought in some kids who were great players for us when they were younger. And they focused on their basketball or baseball, but now they're out here with us, and we hope to make them football players again.
Is this one of those seasons that you look at it and say, I know we're a building in progress here, but if ever there was a time to build towards district play, is this one of those where you're going to mix and match and give kids every opportunity in the world to step up?
Absolutely. I mean, right now, like I said, we've got to find first our identity. We got to know, we know that we have Luigi returning at quarterback. We know what he can do as far as throwing the football around, but we got to see what kind of talent emerges around him. We lost Melik Awachi, big running back there in that spot. So we want to see basically who steps up to the plate to run the football for us, and Blake Folks and Minor and a lot of these guys that played for us on the offensive line. We're going to be green there too. So it's just opportunities all over the board.
Let's talk about the schedule. When does it all start off for real for you guys?
For real, we're here against Port Isabel August 27th. So it's a big date. It's a big rivalry game for us. We love playing the Tarpons. We have utmost respect for that program. And this little stadium gets pretty packed when the Tarpons come to town.
Final question. Last year was dealing with COVID. Are we going to play? Are we going to practice? Are we going to have fans? Are we going to have this? All those question marks seem to be removed. Is it easier going into the season?
Absolutely. Last year we were 6 weeks behind the 8 ball. We only played district opponents, and they got to start the first week of August. We didn't get to start till September 14th. So what makes me feel good is that we're all starting at the same time. We're out here at the same time that our district opponents are. So it gives us an even playing field, and we're going to need it. We got our work cut out for us, but the kids are energized. I have a brand new coaching staff. They're energized. So, this is why we get into the business. It's to coach our tail off, and that's exactly what I'm excited to go do.
Coach, I appreciate you letting us be here for the start of this season.
Joe, it's fitting that you are here with Real Sports, year 5. couldn't be happier. Thank you for having us.
Coach Villarreal, we're at Brownsville St. Joe. Midnight Madness has just begun. We'll be right back after this.
Can make the deepest impressions.
At HCISD, we are creating the future together.
Whether you're visiting or vacationing at South Padre Island, be sure to book your place to stay with Island Services. Locally owned for over 40 years. Trusted, reliable for condo and beach house rentals. Call and visit the website today. Island Services. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for the fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito.
The Brownsville Independent School District continues to provide a safe environment for enriching education. From pre-K-3 to early college high school, the award-winning district has advanced its legacy in curriculum, athletics, and fine arts. Teachers are driving the frontier of technology, bringing industry to the classroom. On and off the field, Brownsville ISD students engage in the experiences that make them college and career ready. Brownsville Independent School District, the best choice.
We are back here on Rio Sports Live. I'm Joe Bowling with you, and I'm joined now by a former player of the Brownsville St. Joe Bloodhounds, Blake Folks. Last year, Midnight Madness, you know what it was all about as a player, so talk about how exciting it is for this team.
I mean, as you can see, we're one of the first teams out here every year. I mean, nobody else is doing this in the Valley. So being out here, one of the first teams out here, it's something special. Yeah, it's kind of, we dread it, kind of being out here late at night and have that practice the next day, but it's what makes St. Joe special. I mean, nobody else is doing this.
And it also helps you get into football mode a little earlier. You guys were here at 7 o'clock. Some guys were here earlier than that, just waiting around. The lights weren't even on, but that's how the excitement is for getting ready.
Excitement is the name of the game. I mean, everybody gets excited for football. Everybody's been waiting for it all year, and it's back.
This is one of those years in which Coach was talking about that he had several players that had graduated. You're one of those. And so there's a ton of spots open. Talk about as a player what it means when you go into a preseason knowing there's spots available and you can get it if you work hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you got to work hard. That's all. I mean, it's what it's all about. You see spots open, you got to take them. Got to take advantage of the opportunities. A lot of young guys are going to have to step up this next year. We're losing. I mean, I don't know the number, but we're losing almost all starters on offense and almost all starters on defense. But I know some of these young guys, they've been working hard, and they can step up and take those roles. And
you're here on a Midnight Madness a year after you graduate. So talk about that, because it's year in, year out. You guys come back to support the next group coming up. Talk about how important that is.
It's a family. St. Joe is a family. We're coming back. These are all my little brothers. I mean, I played with them last year. Little brothers out here, brothers on the field. I love all these guys out here.
Good stuff. That's one of the former players. We'll be back with more after this.
America has one army, but we have many soldiers. From the infantrymen and women who guard our nation, to the photographers that document our history, there are over 150 paths to service. Which path will you take?
Back here on Rio Sports Live, as again you're looking live at Brownsville St. Joseph, as it's now a few minutes past the hour of midnight, and the 2021 high school football season is officially underway. For the TAP schools, the UIL schools will also be participating in practice sessions in a very short period of time. Well, last year during COVID, Rio Sports Live took some huge steps forward in growth. We took a huge leap of faith in saying we were going to be able to get it done and bring fans games when fans weren't allowed to go. And in football season alone, Rio Sports Live brought you, I counted them over the past couple of hours, we did over 350 live football games for you here on Rio Sports Live. And this year, the schedules are already out. We've already started to take a look at where the systems are, what schools are going to need coverage, and we are on tap to go with plus 500 broadcast of football games here on Rio Sports Live. I put together a little highlight reel. Here's a taste of some of the games from last year as we're live at Midnight Madness at St. Joe on Rio Sports Live.
America has one army, but we have many soldiers. From the infantrymen and women who guard our nation, to the photographers that document our history, there are over 150 paths to service. Which path will you take?
Back to pass, pump fakes, deep ball has Atkinson leaping, caught, touchdown Bucks, Lonnie Atkinson.
Big catch there for the Miller Bucks.
Guzman set to take the snap, draw play, take that, and he will score.
We are the Lyford Bulldogs, and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
Big 5-set match. Check out the highlights on Rio Sports Live, see what we're talking about. Reyna back to pass, completed to Jathan Barrera. A big hit over on the far side. I think that's what they're setting it up for. Greenwood to the right of Body, high snap, hauls it in. They're going to run verticals, and down goes Body, a sack. That's how this first half is going to come to an end.
We're the George West Longhorns, and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
The middle, and Tariq Hickman is gone. A 69-yard touchdown for the Cal Allen Wildcats, number 10, Tariq Hickman. Right up the middle.
We're the King Mustangs, and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
Yes, they are. We're going to go to the replay here, but we'll keep it right where we are. The pass over the middle, wide open for the touchdown. Run their offense, single back, it's Santos. They're going to toss it to Santos, and he's going to cut inside, crossing directions, and he's going to score. 14 yards out, Buddy Santos.
Has time, delivers the ball over the middle of the field, caught. Big play time for the Chargers. 30-yard line, block delivered, 20, 15, 10-yard line, 5, 1-yard line. First and goal coming up.
What a last drive, but Garcia, before that quarter end, came up with a big play that put this offense behind the chains.
Third down and every bit of 14 to go for Marlon Montalongo. Drops straight back to throw. Protection is there, delivers a ball downfield, got a man down there, caught to the 20-yard line. First down.
We are the Benavides Eagles,
and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Last year as a junior and really had a breakout year, that's Trinidad. Handoff to the right side with the hole, shakes off a man into the end zone for the touchdown.
We are the Hidalgo Cardinals, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Here we go, second down, 19. Chase Robertson, the Hawks down 7-0. Wants a snap, looks downfield, pump fake. Here comes the pressure, and they got him down for a quarterback sack.
Well, Aaron, this is not what you wanted to see. Now we have, they.
A sellout crowd will look like. Out of the gun is Sanchez, rolls out to his right, steps up, fires a dart over the middle, caught inside the 10, down to the 5. Football comes loose. Looks like the Pirates are going to recover, and another turnover.
We are Hidalgo, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
5 wide receivers. Suarez has pressure, steps up, delivers a pass in the middle, picked off. And this is Florence. He gets it this time. Has running room, dances all the way down to the 45-yard line.
Need a little spark coming out for the Harlingen South. Here we go with the kickoff.
Long booming kick here. Cannot tell from this angle if he's going to be able to return that. He is. He's going to bring that one out. Trying to make a move here to the outside. Nice run back there for the Cardinals. He made something out of nothing.
Half on the run did Leonard on the direct snap there. Right from the gun. Leonard steps back to pass. And what?
We're the London Pirates, and you're watching Rio Sports Live.
In the first quarter. Man in motion goes right to left. Galvan drops back. Here comes some pressure. He's going to get hit, and down he goes.
Yard line. Up to the 30, 35. Breaks a tackle. He has daylight to the midfield strike, 40. And he's finally taken down at the 25-yard line.
To find the end zone. Trips right. Handoff up the left half. Shakes off of one tackler and another. Noah Garcia to the 20, 15, 10, 5. What a run.
We are Santa Maria, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Big costly penalty. So 1st and 10 at the Beeville 32 for Moody. There's the handoff to Lindsay, and it's not Lindsay, and it's the quarterback Cullum, and Cullum's gonna walk in 32 yards away for the touchdown.
Lawrence sends a man in motion, turns, hands it off to the motion man, right side, down to the 30, still on his feet. Look out, 20, 15, down to the 10, down to the 5, to the 3. First and goal coming up.
Banda handing it off once again to his running back, Gonzalez, spinning out of there and finding an open hole as he goes in for a touchdown for the Vikings.
We're the Red Texans, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
And method to the madness, and here we go. Fielded at the 10-yard line. And a lot of room up the sideline. Still on their feet. And a big run back here inside the 20-yard line.
5 yards. Pacheco was 76 yards. 26 each for Yamas and Gomez. 3rd and 1 here. And up the middle, a lot of room in the secondary. 5, touchdown. Lorenzo Lopez. Other side, man in motion left to right for the Pirates. Galvan over the middle, is caught across the 20. More room, 25, 30. Look out, down the sideline. 40, midfield, a lot of speed. Gonna go to the house for the Pirates of Sinton.
Earlier today, the Garcias tuning in from Mathis, Texas. Reyna steps to his left, looking downfield, fires this one. That ball's up, and that's caught in the end zone for a touchdown.
Ball's going to be snapped. It's going to be a play-action pass. He's going to roll out. He's not going to have a man, so he's going to have to make something happen. And all of a sudden, it looks like he might have a lane on the outside. And he's going to get in the end zone. What a play there from Soltero.
Back to pass, pump fakes, deep ball has Adkins.
And there you have it. That's just some of the highlights from the 2020 football season as we are now ramping into 2021. And we are live at St. Joseph Academy in Brownsville, Texas. Rudy Zamaripa Jr. tonight on the camera with me, getting into all of the shots of the players out right now, going through an all-important warm-up session and just trying to get their feet wet, if you will, at the high school football level for some of these players. Again, our appreciation to Coach Tino Villarreal for assisting us and bringing us here and allowing us to broadcast this event. We'll also be here to broadcast his games throughout the season on home and away games for Brownsville St. Joe fans. If you can't make it, we got you covered here on Rio Sports Live. It all starts for them on August 27th when they take on the Port Isabel Tarpons. That's a home game right here, followed by a home game against the Santa Rosa Warriors on September 3rd. They'll continue their season against the Hebbronville Longhorns. That'll be a team in which we're broadcasting games for on September 17th. On the 24th, they'll take on the St. Anthony's Yellow Jackets. That'll be an away game. And yes, we too are prepared to travel once again and follow St. Joseph on the road. October rolls into town. On the 1st, Brentwood Bears will be here at St. Joseph for a ball game on October 1st. We'll broadcast that one. We'll follow that up a week later right here again when the Bernie Geneva Eagles will be taking on this St. Joe team. And then on the 15th of October, St. Michael's Crusaders. It'll be an away game. And then the Regents Knights out of Austin will be the final regular season game. Check that. One game after that will be the Hyde Park Panthers in late October. And then the November game will be John Paul II, the Centurions, at home. So it's a home game to start the season for St. Joseph, and it's a home game to close it out, and lots of action in between. Again, on Rio Sports Live, we are set to bring you a ton of coverage this year at the high school football level. It all starts with our preview magazine, which is coming out right before week 1. We have been in the process of gathering all the information and photos for 108 teams throughout the region and the RGV and the Coastal Bend and the outlying regions of teams that were involved in broadcast throughout our season last year. And because those teams are in play, our magazine is coming out. 50,000 copies will be distributed from Laredo into the RGV, into the Coastal Bend, up into Refugio, and further out than that. 108 teams. Each team will have their own unique page dedicated with photos, with schedules, with information about returning starters. It's the most inclusive publication that's allowing full coverage of a full page of any team. I've been around this long enough that I know the other publications are out there. I know there's other previews that come out that are regionalized, but in this case, 108 teams, full color pages, slick magazine style, 50,000, and most importantly to fans, just like everything else we do here at Rio Sports Live, 100% free. They'll be distributed, again, from Laredo to the Rio Grande Valley to the Coastal Bend. We are still looking for advertisers for that publication. If you're interested in participating by sponsoring your team or want to be just having your business showcased in a publication that's going to be as hot as any off the press when August gets here, a couple of weeks away, reach out on riosportslive@gmail.com. Our deadline for print is August 10th, and so we are actively looking for advertisers to help us fill in the blanks. When you do something for free, it's not free when it comes to the cost of producing it, and therefore we need your assistance on the advertising end. For our broadcast, yes, we're always looking for advertisers there to assist us in broadcasting the games. Once again, it's free to fans. It's free to school districts for us to broadcast the games and for fans to watch the games. However, it's not free to send crews from here to Odom to Kennedy to Corpus Christi on a regular basis. This year out to Laredo multiple times throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Not free. And therefore, we do need the assistance of advertisers to jump on board. It also gives your business a chance to showcase its products or its services to the tune of last year over 30 million views of our broadcast. So it's not just a sponsorship, it's a legitimate advertising opportunity for your business. Here we are at St. Joe a little bit later on after they finish with the stretching exercises. They'll go to stations and they'll be performing some exercises and they'll be going through some drills, and then we'll eventually have a scrimmage. We're here at St. Joe. We'll be back with more after this.
Josh Moody and Coach Rolly Gonzalez of Josh Moody Loans are former Hidalgo Cardinals and would like to wish all the teams good luck in tonight's games.
This game is brought to you in part by the Concession Stand in Santa Rosa, a locally owned business providing a terrific atmosphere before or after the games and supporting athletes of all ages. When you're in Santa Rosa, be sure to stop by the Concession Stand and choose from the wide assortment of goodies. An advertising partner with Rio Sports Live is the Concession Stand. And he throws it down. Hey! See you later, touchdown.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower all students to reach their full potential and become leaders of the highest moral character. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
At HCISD, we embrace the future.
We learn to communicate.
At HCISD, we put our best foot forward.
At HCISD, we
make noise!
At HCISD, we learn that the smallest of moments can make the deepest impressions.
At HCISD, we are creating the future together.
Back here on Rio Sports Live, and we are back again at Midnight Madness as we are now 24 minutes into the 2021 football season for the St. Joe Bloodhounds, who are out here practicing from the first minute available. They are on the field, and you can see there's a good turnout of players, despite the fact that they're returning very limited players with varsity experience from last year's squad. I've talked to coaches over the years who will tell me, hey, that's an exciting time if you ask me, because if I've got that many spots open, I can legitimately look players in the eye and say, you want to work hard, you get a spot. It's wide open for you. Again, our broadcast this year on Rio Sports Live, I'm in the process of continuing to put together the broadcast schedule, continuing to communicate with various schools and coaches and with broadcast crews to make sure we have things in place. Some of the teams we'll be looking to cover games for this year are teams that we were at last year for the first time on Rio Sports Live. On August 27th is the real deal first Friday night game for most of these teams. Talk about a team like the Freer Buckaroos as they take on Benavides. That's a home game on August 27th. We'll be there for that one. Kennedy takes on Karn City. Now, Karn City is a school that we will be adding to the broadcast mix. We had Kennedy last year. Karn City's a little bit further out on the reach on the Coastal Bend. However, we have made communications there. And so when Kennedy and Karn City hit the field on August 27th, that'll be a broadcast game, a home game for Karn City. For Refugio, last year it was on the road for every single game on the season for the Refugio Bobcats. This year they will be playing some home games, but they'll start the season on the road at Bruni. And we do have Billy Sweeney in tow, ready to broadcast the games and bring you fans the exciting Refugio Bobcat football. And they are a highly talented football team this year, looking to make a deep run into the playoffs. Many have looked at them as the team to beat when it's all said and done. Their second game of the year is against George West. That's a home game against George West. We talked to George West last year. We did some of their games. We're looking to do more this year. Then they're on home against Edna. They take on Sabinal. Crystal City on September 24th. Again, we're talking about the Refugio Bobcats. Ganado on October 1st. Bloomington on October 8th. And they wrap up the season with 3 games down the stretch in October. The 22nd at Three Rivers, the 29th at Kennedy, and they'll wrap it up November 5th at Freer. Three Rivers was another team in which we did some games last year. We're hoping to continue our coverage there. How about the Villa Cardinals right here in the Rio Grande Valley? They start the season at home against Progreso, and in next week they're at home against Lyford. Both of those games are scheduled to be broadcast games here on Rio Sports Live as we started off. Fremont at Monte Alto, and then they're at home against Agua Dulce for the first couple of weeks before they take on Pettis and Victoria St. Joe, both at home. Hopefully we're back for some more Fremont football, which we were there last year for. Riviera, a couple of road games to start the season. Agua Dulce and Woodsboro on the 27th of August and September 3rd. Riviera was another team last year in which we did some of their games. Santa Maria is at MMA, and we are looking to broadcast some of the Leathernecks games this year. So we'll be looking to be at that one as well. Benavides, once again, I talked about that. They're at Freer. And down the road, Aransas Pass at Rockport Fulton. Also on the road at Ingleside. These are all teams that we covered some games for last year, and we're looking to expand our coverage this year even bigger and better. Bishop takes on Hebronville on a home game for old Bishop fans. August 27th is the first game there. Corpus Christi London, we're already committed to broadcasting their games this season. And Corpus Christi London starts it off against Corpus Christi John Paul II. John Paul II, another team in which we have committed now to broadcast their games throughout the season. So the expansion is in tow for Rio Sports Live. Rudy again is on the camera going back and forth between a couple of cameras here. There's some fans in the stands as well. And, of course, the DJ playing the music. I'm Joe Bowling. I'll come back. We'll take a look at some additional schedules, and I'll tell you about some additional broadcasts coming up and some additional needs for Rio Sports Live. Are you a broadcaster? Are you a broadcast wannabe? Would you like to be involved with camera operations? Do you like sports in general? We may just have a spot for you. It's Rio Sports Live. It's Midnight Madness. It's at St. Joe in Brownsville. I'm Joe Bowling. Back after this.
Uniforms, etc., you're going to find the opportunity to purchase the best high-quality scrubs. Soon after I learned about how the EDC was helping out the community, and so I did meet with Ms. Castillo. She made it very easy, very friendly, and she walked me every step of the way. I couldn't have done it without their help.
Come visit our new store in downtown Harlingen. We have furniture, appliances, clothes, collectibles, and more. All funds collected support the Sunny Glen Children's Home. Come see us at Vintage on Jackson at First and Jackson in Harlingen.
A Piece of Cake by Ibadas in Harlingen is a sweet stop for cakes, cookies, and pastries. The best in town for specialty cakes made to order. Sweetbread, cookies, pies, or how about cupcakes? At A Piece of Cake by Ibadas, try a Texas-style cinnamon roll, or how about some tamales? Wedding cakes, graduations, you dream it and they can make it. The best in town is A Piece of Cake by Ibadas in Harlingen.
And he throws it down. Back here on Rio Sports Live at Brownsville St. Joseph on Midnight Madness. Players wrapping up the first portion of this. They've got a time clock and everything is on schedule. When you're at a Tino Villarreal practice, this is what you get. You get everything regimented, everything assigned. You're going to go here, you're going to go here. Him and the coaches were here at 7 o'clock trying to get all of that mapped out, and they were still going over details prior to our broadcast right up until the midnight hour. Some additional teams we'll be covering this year that were part of our broadcast last year under the limited COVID seasons include the Hidalgo Pirates. Hidalgo fans will be at home when Valley View comes to town. That's a big rivalry game on August 27th. They'll follow that up with another home game against Orange Grove before they hit the road for Rio Grande City and on the road for Alice. They'll have a bye on September 24th, and the Hidalgo Pirates will be taking on Somerset at Freer. That'll be a broadcast game on Rio Sports Live as well. The LaFeria Lions, another team, will be covering their sports this year. And LaFeria will open things up at Raymondville, where the Bearcats will be looking to capture a district title. They'll take on LaFeria's Lions right out of the gate. LaFeria then is at home for 3 weeks in a row, and on September 3rd, they're taking on La Jolla. They'll follow that up on September 10th against Donna North, and then September 17th against Tuloso Midway. HM King, a team which we broadcast games last year for, will be back broadcasting games again for the Brahmas. They'll be at home against Robstown at Kingsville University on August 26th. That'll be a Thursday game, so that'll be one of the very first games on the broadcast schedule on Rio Sports Live. Mark Molina most likely will be in tow for that one. However, we do have some other crews in place in the Coastal Bend. King then travels to San Diego on September 3rd before returning home on September 10th against Bishop. Further down the line at Orange Grove on September 17th, and then back home on September 27th against Alice for HM King. Port Isabel Tarpons, they take on this Brownsville St. Joe team, and then they'll be at Valley View, at Aransas Pass, at Robstown before they're home on October 1st against Raymondville. And then they'll be at Sinton, taking on Rio Hondo at home, at Ingleside, at home against West Oso, and then at Rockport Fulton. Now, that's a district that split in half last year because of COVID. They put it into two different groups. So this will be the first full run of that district to be able to play all of the opponents up and down the schedule. And again, Port Isabel and Raymondville, which is also in that district, are teams in which we have committed to being at their games throughout the season. For Raymondville fans, yes, they're at LaFeria to start it off, or they're at home against LaFeria to start it off, and then they come on the road. Rio Grande City's Gruya, September 3rd. They'll travel to Lyford on September 10th for that huge rivalry game. Lyford at home against Raymondville. A bye week for the Raymondville Bearcats on September 17th, and then they'll be at home against Rockport Fulton before being on the road for that Port Isabel game, and then they'll be at home against Robstown. Then they'll be at home against Sinton. They'll travel to Rio Hondo. They'll be at home against Ingleside on October 29th, and they'll wrap up the season on the regular season side at West Oso on November 5th. Talked about some of the opportunities here for Brownsville St. Joseph with all of the starters that graduated. There's multiple positions in which they are looking for outright players to begin the season. And that makes opportunities for these players to come out here and earn some spots. On Rio Sports Live, we too have opportunities. On the broadcast side, we're looking for play-by-play individuals who want to be a part of what we're doing, not only in the Coastal Bend, but in the RGV, and we're even looking for a crew to establish the foothold back in the Laredo area. So if you are interested in doing play-by-play, if you had some experience, or if you want to gain some experience with us, then reach out to me on realsportslive@gmail.com. You can also give me a ring or an email if you're interested in operating a camera. We have camera operator positions available as well on Real Sports Live. Again, realsportslive@gmail.com, and I'm talking about not just for football. We start the season for volleyball before these football teams even begin their regular season games. We've got tournaments 2 weeks away. We'll be looking for broadcasters and for individuals to assist us with camera operations as well. Team is now broken into various locations to run through some drills. They'll rotate each spot. Again, we're gearing up for a modified scrimmage where they'll run some plays. Tino Villarreal talked about it during our beginning of our show that in years past when he had a ton of returners, they would just hit the field immediately and run 50 plays and then go into the drills. But in this case, they're just getting people acclimated to being on a football field, going through some practices, and getting ready for those simulated scrimmage situations. Corpus Christi Carroll, last year we were in all the games at Buccaneer and Cabanis. We are in full gear mode trying to make sure we wrap up that as well. Carroll is at home on August 27th to take on Eagle Pass. They'll stay at home on September 2nd to take on Sinton. For Corpus Christi King, they're on the road at San Antonio Lanier to start the season, and then they're at home against Rockport Fulton on September 3rd, and a matchup between Corpus Christi veterans on September 10th. For Moody, they're at home against Tuloso Midway on August 27th, and then they will then take on San Antonio Jefferson at home before traveling to Gregory Portland on September 10th. As far as Corpus Christi Ray, they get the Miller Bucks to start the season. On August 27th, Miller, again, a highly talented football team last year, lost some key players but have a ton of returners that have a lot of excitement for the Miller Buccaneers. They'll start it off against Ray. That'll be a home game for Ray on August 27th. Then Ray travels to Tuloso Midway on September 3rd. They'll get a bye on the 10th, and then they'll return to match up against Moody on September 17th and take on Carroll on the 24th of September, and then they'll play Corpus Christi veterans, so run the gambit of all of the Corpus schools. Flower Bluff was a team in which we broadcast some of their games last year. They'll start on the road against Beeville, and then they'll have Laredo Alexander at home before they travel to Victoria West on September 10th, and then Corpus Christi King is at Flower Bluff on September 17th. Some of the Victoria schools, we covered Victoria schools throughout the year last year as they migrated into the Corpus schools for their games, and so therefore we're looking at Victoria East at CC Veterans on September 16th, and CC Moody on November 5th. For Victoria West at CC King on September 24th, at CC Moody on the 22nd of October, and at CC Carroll on the 29th of October. So we'll see Victoria West this year during our broadcast. For the Brownsville schools, yes, we're in St. Joseph here this evening, but Sam Stadium is going to be one of our normal spots in which we're at games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday throughout the season. Brownsville Lopez will start the season, however, on the road. It's against San Antonio Southside, but that will actually be at Cabanis Field in Corpus Christi on the 26th, which should be our first broadcast game of the season. That one kicks off at 7 o'clock. For Lopez, they have a home game against Brownsville Pace on September 3rd, and then they'll take on the McAllen schools. They're at Rowe on September 9th, and then McAllen Memorial is at Brownsville Lopez for September 17th. For that Brownsville Pace team, they'll be at Sherryland High. Now, Sherryland is another team in which we are broadcasting games for again this year. Over at Richard Thompson Stadium, we'll be at all the Sherryland and Sherryland Pioneer games. So when August 27th rolls around and Brownsville Pace takes on those Sherryland Rattlers, yes, we'll be there for that broadcast as well. Pace then goes to Brownsville Lopez. That's a home game at Sam Stadium for Lopez. Pace will then play at Sam Stadium the next 2 weeks on September 10th and September 16th against Brownsville Porter and McAllen Rowe. For Porter, they're at home to start the year for 2 games. Rio Grande City's at home on August 26th. That's a Thursday night. September 2nd, they'll then take on Brownsville Veterans. For Brownsville Veterans, they'll start it in Harlingen when they'll take on Harlingen South under the new direction of a new head coach. The Harlingen South Hawks will be flying high at home to take on that Brownsville Veterans team. Brownsville Veterans is then also at Sam Stadium. It's a road game as they're the road team against Brownsville Porter. Then they're at home to take on Weslaco East before they travel to Mac High on September 17th. For Donna, that's another stadium in which will be at the Redskins. And for Donna and Donna North, we'll have all of their games, and so why not start it off on August 27th when they play each other. Donna North and Donna, 7 o'clock kickoff, will be there for that one. They travel to Weslaco East on September 3rd, and then they're at home against McAllen. Normally, McAllen is not a broadcast opportunity for us at their home games. They've got a terrific crew that broadcasts their games at their stadium. However, the McAllen schools, when they're on the road and they're in the stadiums in which we're covering, then you fans as well on Rio Sports Live get a chance to see McAllen Memorial, and Nicky Rowe, especially when they roll through Brownsville when we have those games scheduled. La Jolla is another stadium in which we've done some games, and we're looking to do more this year. La Jolla starts off Palmview and La Jolla square off on August 27th before it's a home game for Palmview against Rowe on September 3rd. Mercedes, let's talk about the Mercedes Tigers when they're starting their season. The big game on the Mercedes schedule always is Ed Couch-Elsa. That one, my friends, is scheduled for October 1st. As I'm looking at some of these early schedules that we have, there's going to be some modifications. I know it. There always is some changes. But we'll be there for some of the Mercedes games as well. How about Mission Veterans? Yes, Mission Veterans and Mission are on our broadcast schedule this year. And no, they will not be playing any games at all at Tom Landry Stadium this year. They're under some modifications to the stadium, and so therefore they'll be considered home games, but they're not by any means home. Which means when Mission Veterans and Mission square off on a Thursday night on August 26th, fans that want to see that live will have to travel to Hidalgo, home of the Pirates. 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll be there for the broadcast of that one here on Rio Sports Live. Mission Veterans then travels to San Benito on September 3rd, and they'll follow it up on September 6th when they're at Sherryland to take on Valley View. Again, all home games for Mission Veterans and Mission are on the road in neutral sites. For Mission Veterans, they'll be playing at Hidalgo, at Sherryland, at Mac High for double dips against Ed Couch and Sherryland, and at Mercedes when they take on PSJA Southwest. Further down on our broadcast schedule, let's take a look at some of the other teams. All of the Edinburgh games, we'll have those for you this year. How about Edinburgh High when they start off against Mac High at home in Edinburgh? We'll have that broadcast for you on August 27th. Edinburgh, the Cats will then travel to Brownsville Rivera on September 3rd and then return home on September 9th against Juarez Lincoln. Economides will be at PSJA Southwest on the road for August 26th, but we'll catch them at home on September 3rd when they welcome the Roma Gladiators. For Edinburgh North, they're at home to start it off on a Thursday night against PSJA Memorial, 7:30 kickoff. Yes, we'll be there for that one. They'll then go to Mercedes on September 3rd, and we should have that broadcast as well for Edinburgh North fans. For Edinburgh Villa, they're on the road at McAllen Memorial to start it off on August 27th. Then we'll see them on September 2nd in a broadcast when they take on the Harlingen Cardinals in a home game before they travel to PSJA North on September 10th. Then we'll pick them up again on a broadcast on September 16th when they're at home against La Jolla. For La Jolla, again, they take on Palmview on August 27th. Then they're at La Feria. We'll see that La Jolla team against La Feria. We'll also see them against Mission when La Jolla hosts Mission. We'll see them when they're at Edinburgh Villa. We'll see them when they take on Edinburgh North, when they take on Edinburgh, when they take on Juarez Lincoln, and when they take on Economides. So fans will see a lot of La Jolla and La Jolla Juarez Lincoln just from the scheduling and the way it goes. Same thing for Mission fans. We talked about being there for all their home games, which are in neutral sites. For Mission, here's their neutral sites, which are all considered home games this year. The Mission Vets game on August 22nd. Or 26th, that is. September 2nd. At home, it's scheduled at home against Weslaco High. That's going to be moved to a neutral site, I assure you of that. We'll get back on those neutral sites on Mission High. Brownsville, Hannah. A lot of interest in the Eagles this year. Hannah starts it off on the 27th against Mercedes. That's a home game for the Hannah Eagles. They'll stay at home on September 4th on a Saturday night when they take on, a Saturday morning that is, when they take on Sherryland. Up and down the line, a lot of excitement for a lot of football. And we're here at Midnight Madness in Brownsville, St. Joe. I'm Joe Bowling. This is Real Sports Live. Back after this.
Hi, my name is Angela Rodriguez, and I am one of the owners here at Main Street Boutique and Bistro. We heard about the rent subsidy grant, so we contacted Rebecca Castillo with the EDC, and she was very helpful. She told us, what we needed to do, the requirements, and helped us go through the application process.
And he throws it down. See you later, touchdown.
The Brownsville Independent School District continues to provide a safe environment for enriching education. From pre-K3 to early college high school, the award-winning district has advanced its legacy in curriculum, athletics, and fine arts. Teachers are driving the frontier of technology, bringing industry to the classroom. On and off the field, Brownsville ISD students engage in the experiences that make them college and career ready. Brownsville Independent School District, the best choice.
At HCISD, we embrace the future.
We learn to communicate.
At HCISD, we put our best foot forward.
At HCISD, we
make noise!
At HCISD, we learn that the smallest of moments can make the deepest impressions.
At HCISD, we are creating the future together.
Music lovers, you have to stop. Back here on Real Sports Live, you can see there are some fans here tonight for midnight practice in Brownsville, St. Joseph, as the faithful fans that are here to take a first peek at the St. Joe Bloodhounds. Fairly decent night tonight. It was humid, but other than that, a good night for a little football practice here at Brownsville, St. Joe. They are continuing to go through drills. And then they'll get into a scrimmage portion here this evening. And we'll stick around for the broadcast of that as we can. Again, earlier I ran some highlights for fans of last year's broadcast. Already had a couple of requests for that, so I'll run it again while we're kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for the scrimmage portion in which we'll see some scripted plays for the St. Joe Bloodhounds. And so why not take this opportunity? Here's some highlights from last year on Real Sports Live.
America has one army, but we have many soldiers. From the infantrymen and women who guard our nation, to the photographers that document our history, there are over 150 paths to service. Which path will you take?
Back to pass, pump fakes, deep ball has Atkinson leaping, caught, touchdown Bucks, Lonnie Atkinson.
Big catch there for the Miller Bucks.
Guzman set to take the snap, draw play, take that, and he will score.
We are the Lafford Bulldogs, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Big 5-set match. Check out the highlights on Real Sports Live, see what we're talking about. Reyna back to pass, completed to Jathan Barrera. Big hit over on the far side. I think that's what they're setting it up for. Greenwood to the right of Body, high snap, hauls it in. They're going to run verticals, and down goes Body, a sack. That's how this first half is going to come to an end.
We're the George West Longhorns, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
The middle, and Tariq Hickman is gone. A 69-yard touchdown for the Cal Allen Wildcats, number 10, Tariq Hickman. Right up the middle.
We're the Key Mustangs, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Yes, they are. We're going to go to the replay here, but we'll keep it right where we are. The pass over the middle, wide open for the touchdown. Run their offense, single back, it's Santos. They're going to toss it to Santos, and he's going to cut inside, crossing directions, and he's going to score. 14 yards out, Buddy Santos.
Has time, delivers the ball over the middle of the field, caught. Big play time for the Chargers. 30-yard line, block delivered, 20, 15, 10-yard line, 5, 1-yard line. First and goal coming up.
What a last drive, but Garcia, before that quarter end, came up with a big play that put this offense behind the chains.
Third down and every bit of 14 to go for Marlon Montalongo. Drops straight back to throw. Protection is there, delivers the ball downfield, got a man down there, caught to the 20-yard line. First down.
We are the Benavides Eagles, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Last year as a junior and really had a breakout year, that's Trinidad. Handoff to the right side with the hole, shakes off a man into the end zone for the touchdown.
We are the Hidalgo Pirates, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Here we go. Second down, 19. Chase Roberts and the Hawks down 7-0. Wants a snap, looks downfield, pump fake. Here comes the pressure, and they got him down for a quarterback sack.
Well, Aaron, this is not what you wanted to see. Now we have, they.
A sellout crowd will look like. Out of the gun is Sanchez, rolls out to his right, steps up, fires a dart over the middle, caught inside the 10, down to the 5. Football comes loose. Looks like the Pirates are going to recover, and another turnover.
We are Hidalgo, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
5 wide receivers. Suarez has the pressure, steps up, delivers a pass in the middle, picked off. And this is Florence. He gets it this time. Has running room, dances all the way down to the 45-yard line.
Need a little spark coming out for the Harlingen South. Here we go with the kickoff.
Long booming kick here. Cannot tell from this angle if he's going to be able to return that. He is. He's going to bring that one out. Trying to make a move here to the outside. Nice run back there for the Cardinals. He made something out of nothing.
Half on the run did Leonard on the direct snap there. Right from the gun. Leonard steps back to pass. And what?
We're the London Pirates, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
In this first quarter, man in motion goes right to left. Galvan drops back. Here comes some pressure. He's going to get hit, and down he goes.
Yard line. Up to the 30, 35. Breaks a tackle. He has daylight to the midfield strike, 40. And he's finally taken down at the 25-yard line.
To find the end zone. Trips right. Handoff up the left half. Shakes off of one tackler and another. Noah Garcia to the 20, 15, 10, 5. What a run.
We are Santa Maria, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Big costly penalty. So 1st and 10 at the Beeville 32 for Moody. There's the handoff to Lindsay, and it's not Lindsay, and it's the quarterback Cullum, and Cullum's going to walk in 32 yards away for the touchdown.
Lawrence sends a man in motion, turns, hands it up. Back here on Real Sports Live as we are again at the Midnight Madness practice for the St. Joe Bloodhounds. Why are we here? Some of the fans were asking earlier. Well, first and foremost, Real Sports Live started in 2017 as my wife Dahlia and I decided to push forward with faith only that we would be able to broadcast games, and it started all right here at St. Joe Academy. We did a Midnight Madness with Coach at that time. We did a little preview, and then we set up with a small little webcam in the far corner of the bleachers here at this stadium when we broadcast our first game here on Rio Sports Live. At that time, we had, count them, 3 followers on Facebook, 0 followers on YouTube. We're just shy of 40,000 on the likes on our Facebook. We're well over 50,000 on the followers right now as we enter year 5 on Rio Sports Live. 50 million views have been tallied. since the inception of Rio Sports Live, and it all started right here. So my loyalty is, again, to the place where it all started. Tino Villarreal was the first to open the door and say, hey, come on in, broadcast our games, we welcome you. Was followed right behind that by Rocky James at Rio Hondo. And then from there, it just snowballed into all of the schools that were understanding what I was trying to build here in the Rio Grande Valley, and with the indication that, hey, I'm not just building a small little broadcast entity here. We're going for bigger and better things, and there are indeed some huge things that are coming up that we'll be unveiling on Rio Sports Live, especially on the ease of fans to be able to watch their games. Traditionally, it's all been on Facebook or YouTube. That's all going to change in the very near future as we are implementing a brand new opportunity for fans to be able to see games regardless of where they're at, regardless of the type of smart television they have or handheld device. They'll be able to see their games, and more importantly, they'll be able to see their teams with all of the archives that we have. As we enter year 5, I was going over the archives throughout this summer. We have recorded over 5,000 events on Rio Sports Live, which makes it real simple for me to go back and say, let's play the best of 24 hours a day of any particular school on, get this, their own unique individual channel dedicated through Rio Sports Live. I'm going to peel just a little bit of the envelope out, but I'm telling you, there's some bigger and better exciting things that are coming for the fans that have been accustomed to watching our events. Here on Rio Sports Live, again, the big thing is that we are looking for all kinds of advertisers and sponsors. We're also looking for play-by-play and camera operators. We'll be back with more from St. Joe after this.
Memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past? First pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
America has one army, but we have many soldiers. From the infantry.
Back here on Rio Sports Live, and back having a seat for just a moment at Coach Tino Villarreal. And Coach, again, fans are asking me, well, why St. Joe? Why are you here at St. Joe? And I'm like, well, why not? Who else is practicing tonight? But also the loyalty because of being here. I still look at the spot where I know we broadcast our first game here, and I can still remember some of those games on the first year in which we were here.
Yeah, I'll never forget, especially because I think the first game that you did here, Joe, we had a nail biter that went down to the wire against Rio Hondo.
Yes, sir.
I think we went out on a quick first quarter lead, and then they tied us up in the third quarter, and it was a shootout to the very end. Kai Money missed an end zone shot there, and then I think we got in close to the goal line with a penalty, and it was a thriller to the end. I think the final score was 52-48 Rio Hondo. And that was the first Real Sports Live one here at Canales Field.
It was the first game we did, and I was talking about it. We had 3 followers on Facebook. We had 0 followers on YouTube when that game went underway. And we had a total that year in 2017 of 517 followers, and now we're over 50,000 on Facebook and well over 30,000 on the YouTube side of things. So to say the least, we've grown just a bit. But let's talk about that, because there is a comparison to this year's team to the link to Kai Money. And I think right now all things link through Kai Money at some point in time through your program, because it was a measuring stick. That group was that special. But when Kai graduated, he took a lot with him.
Yes, he did.
That happened last year going into this year. It's very similar, as you were talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, when Kai Money graduated, I think we were down to 5 returning starters, and right now we're at 7. So we've been here before, it's kind of similar position where a lot of spots to fill, a lot of people trying to prove themselves, and this is the second go around for me and my coordinators at it. So, experience kind of counts for me too. Going through that. We made the playoffs that year. We went and played Houston Second Baptist over in Houston that year. We had ourselves an okay season, but trial and error. You know, I think we're here again, and as a staff, we're a little bit more equipped to kind of know where to put our focus and kind of how to harness down and build a better football program.
Is the focus more on conditioning then more so than ever before when you're looking at just getting players ready to play?
Especially after a year of COVID, Joe, where, you know, there was no athletic period, where we didn't have a summer last summer, you know, and the school year was kind of hit or miss. You know, these kids need to learn how to put in work again. You know, I think everybody got relaxed, everybody at home school, kind of voluntary workouts, and getting them out here and getting them back into condition and getting them in the shape to handle a 10-game regular season, 2-game. I mean, this is going to be a task not just for St. Joe, but just for Texas high school football.
Last year we talked about it. I remember talking to you before a game in which we broadcast on the road, in which it almost felt like when you got on the field it was an exhale, because it's all hold your breath, getting ready. Can we play? Can we practice? And then the exhale was we get to play. This year, much different approach, because you can circle a calendar, you can have a game plan and execute all the way to kickoff.
We were on borrowed time last year, right? Like week in and week out, and then you get to game day and you don't even know. You're prepared to play, but you don't even know the game's going to really happen, because who knows if someone from their team tested or felt sick, or, you know. So like I said, just being out here right now on the first day where the entire state gets to be out here August 2nd, yeah, and to be out here with kids, and like you said, I can look at my schedule and we can plan. You know, I know how much time I have to get ready for district. I know how I'm going to get this young guys, and we're going to scrimmage Raymondville, who's, you know, going to get us ready for sure. You know, Raymondville's going to be tough, and then we're going to go face Porter. And Porter, you know, hey, they're going to give us. They're a 5A. They're a local Brownsville school, and anytime you get two Brownsville schools to play each other, it's not friendly, and that's going to get us ready to go. But it does give you more of a sense of being able to see your schedule, calendar, and be able to plan and know kind of set milestones of what we want to do in 2 weeks, in a month, and kind of get us ready for district.
Also, you're in the second week after a realignment at the UIL level, and so you're in the second portion of that, knowing that they're going to realign again next year, and you're going to have to juggle that schedule. But before you got to look at some of these teams this year, you may get a look at them for the first time because they didn't get to play you last year.
Port Isabel is a prime example. That's our season opener, and they didn't get to play last year at all. And they got Coach Tony, who was there last year, but they didn't play. So they what can we expect from them? I mean, all we know is the Tarpon tradition. We know that Coach Tony is going to get them ready with that offense that he runs, but yeah, it's exciting and scary at the same time.
It is, because it's an unknown. Before second year of a UIL realignment, you played them 1 year, so you may have to play them on their place versus yours, but at least you got to see them. Port Isabel, all the fans wondered last year what they were going to look like anyway. They're still wondering.
Yeah, I mean, our second game's against Santa Rosa. They just hired Marichilar, and so it's like, I have no idea what to expect from Santa Rosa. I don't know. We didn't play them last year. I don't know who they have coming back. I have no idea. I can read Campbell Magazine, but it's black and white. You can't judge a team with what you read in black and white.
Well, you can judge a coach that comes from Ed Couch Elsa. If he brings any of that to the Santa Rosa Warriors, that black and gold may take on a whole new look by the time they play you.
Absolutely, and so they're great unknowns for us. We have Hebronville in our schedule. We've never played them before. Again, we're supposed to play them last year. I have no idea what to expect. It's exciting. It's fun. It's scary. But you know what? When you have a young team, and I have a brand new coaching staff with the exception of my coordinators, I see it as a huge opportunity for us to kind of, find an identity, kind of find what we're good at, find our recipe, which is how we enjoy, playing the game, whether it's going to be relying on the defense, time of possession. I know that we're known for a fast tempo, but but I'm also known to do whatever it takes to win. So if it means to slow it down, we're going to slow it down. I mean, I have no idea what to expect, and that's the exciting part as a coach, is to see us emerge.
You'll bring your mindset of I'll adapt to my players, which a lot of coaches won't do. They'll just simply say it's my style, it's my way, and this is where we're going to play. But to be able to adapt to the talent around you is another whole world when it comes to that. Let me talk about the scheduling, because again, you ramp up your schedule to play arguably what is one of the tougher district schedules. If you just outright line it up, player for player, man for man, team for team, you've got as tough a district schedule as anyone would want to play. So talk about your preparation and the way you schedule games in hopes to see different styles, knowing what you got when district play gets here.
Absolutely. I mean, look, a lot of people kind of forget about St. Joe after the first 2 or 3 weeks because we don't play Valley opponents after that. And so, you know, we're out here, and I understand when fans go, hey, why are you at St. Joe? What's up with St. Joe? We kind of get a little bit lost in the shuffle, and that's okay. That's okay. Our district opponents are in Austin, they're in San Antonio, and they have Division I. I mean, people will forever tell you, Joe, that we recruit here at St. Joe. I wish that were true. I wish they would see the opponents we play, and they could see real recruits. Those kids are out there. They're handpicked, and so in order to prepare against bigger, faster, stronger, I have to accept first and foremost that that's going to be a reality. And I think a lot of coaches don't like to accept that. That doesn't mean we can't beat them. Okay, just because they're bigger, faster, stronger doesn't mean that we can't beat them. We got to find our recipe, and I think the recipe we found here at St. Joe is to play our hearts out for 48 minutes. It's to take chances. It's to try to create takeaways. We know bigger, faster, stronger, they're going to score some points, but can we take the ball away from them? Can our defense hang its hat on turnovers, and can we take care of the ball on offense, move it quickly when we need to, but not give it up as easy? I think that's kind of been the recipe. Even though we're only 30, 40 deep, when we play 50, 60, the conditioning is crucial because people think I'm crazy. They think you got 30 kids and you're going to run a fast tempo against a team of 60. And I'll tell you what, you've been there to watch us wear down a team of 60.
I watched it on this field,
absolutely,
yes, sir.
Down to the fourth quarter, and it's a field goal kick in when we can pull off the impossible against the bigger, faster, stronger team. So in order for us to do that, we got to see everything. I love scheduling the toughest opponents we can. We got 250 kids in our high school, Joe, and if I can play a 4A, 5A that's got 800 to 1,200 kids, a school 4 to 5 times our size, we never get the credit for, hey, Rio Hondo is, I wish we can put them on our schedule again right now. It didn't work out, but Port Isabel, putting them on there, we have been playing schools that are, we have the utmost respect for their coaches, their school tradition and program. They're going to get us ready, whether it's through the spread, whether it's through the nasty slot, whether it's through smash mouth football and multiple formations like it is with Porter. But we have to see a little bit of everything because in our district, we're going to see every type of football possible, and most of the time by legendary Hall of Fame coaches that retire and get rehired by those schools that we play against.
And again, looking at the strength of the district teams that you play against, I walk in your locker room, I see remnants of those teams that beat those great teams. When you would tell me, Joe, they got 5 D1 players up and down the lineup on that team, and then you turn around and beat a team like that. So again, easier for you as a coach to say, hey, you know what we're capable of doing. You either were in the stands, you might have been in the lower grades, but you've seen it happen. And so does it help you instill in these players, just believe, we'll get it done?
Absolutely. That's what I told them in the locker room before we got out here. I told them, boys, make no mistake about it. Whatever it is that we're going to do out here for this season is all based on whether you buy into the system here at St. Joe or not. It's all about buy-in, 100%. We can get out here and we can run reps to death, but if you don't understand the recipe of success at our school and you don't buy into it 100%, we're going to be a mediocre football team. Or we could be the no-name Bad News Bears that all of a sudden make a little name for ourselves, because just like we're rebuilding, so are 5 of the 8 teams along with us. So the district's wide open for us to make the playoffs and for us to do something special with this young group.
And that's the way it is when you're talking about day one. Talk about this first week. I know it's Midnight Madness here. Just go through the schedule for your players on this first week.
Well, especially being young, it kind of helps us out that, the new rule that with two-a-days that you can't kind of go back-to-back and stuff like that. So what we do a lot of is we're going to do a lot of film. We're going to do a lot of classroom. So kind of the way it looks for us is we're going to be in the weight room some. We're going to be in the classroom some. I think mental reps are crucial, whether they're on the field or in position meetings or in the classroom. So kind of what this week looks like for us is we never double up on the outdoor and the physical part of it. But we will spend a lot of time watching film and spending time really learning our system well. And like I said, playing to our strengths. I think that we're going to be a team that is going to pass a lot more than we have in the past. But with passing, stops the clock a little bit. So we do have to be successful in high percentage passes. So, we've got a little tweaks here and there in our system. What I love about our offensive system is that it's very friendly to almost do anything in the game of football.
Some coaches, when they have a squad that has limited returners, will go with a thin playbook and expand off of a certain core amount of plays. Is it a thin or a thick playbook to start the season this year offensively?
It's going to be it's a trick question for me because it's both. In our playbook, Joe, we don't go by plays, we go by concepts. And so what we do is we're going to probably, with a young group like this, really focus on 3 main passing concepts. But out of that, we can tag anywhere from 8 to 10 different plays from each concept that are very simple tweaks that make it look like a completely different play. So to the naked eye, it's going to look like we're running anywhere from 25 to 30 different pass plays. When in reality, we're really teaching kids 3 things.
And read from there.
And read from there.
A lot of importance on the quarterback, a lot of importance on the receivers to understand what they see and communicate, correct?
I'm excited. What helps us is that Luigi started since he's a freshman towards the end of his year of that season. So I tell people with our fast tempo and the way we run practice, I try to fit in 2 to 3 years worth of football knowledge in one season. So when I look at Luigi, I'm able to communicate with him and he understands everything that we want to do. And that really helps from a leadership standpoint when we've got a bunch of rookies that he's got to throw to.
There are quarterbacks that rely on, and I'll get you out of here because I know you got to get back on the field. There are quarterbacks that rely on receivers to get open. There are also quarterbacks that can throw a receiver open. Where does he fit in?
I think Luigi is a guy that can throw receivers open. The beauty of our system, Joe, is that like we don't do the plays, the concepts, my receivers can have choice routes every time. And so his experience will get them to sit. If they're zoning, he'll get them to sit in the hole. By his leadership ability, he'll throw a hole even if he doesn't throw it to them, and he'll let them know they should have sat there, right? And if they're playing us man, then they got to continue running across the field. He'll make sure to reiterate that, and so he'll be like an additional coach on the field for us, and that's really going to help us out.
Offensive-minded is where I always vision you, and again, I look at this. Are you going to hope that the offense ramps this thing up and let the defense come play with them?
I told my coaching staff, and I'll leave it at that, is that I'm comfortable winning a game 100-99. I'm comfortable losing a game 99-100.
That'd be Coach Tino, we're out. We'll be back. Midnight Madness in St. Joe. Back after this.
To the photographers that document our history, there are over 150 paths to service. Which path will you take?
And he throws it down. Hey! See you later. Touchdown.
The Brownsville Independent School District continues to provide a safe environment for enriching education. From pre-K3 to early college high school, the award-winning district has advanced its legacy in curriculum, athletics, and fine arts. Teachers are driving the frontier of technology, bringing industry to the classroom. On and off the field, Brownsville ISD students engage in the experiences that make them college and career ready. Brownsville Independent School District, the best choice.
At HCISD, we embrace the future.
We learn to communicate.
At HCISD, we put our best foot forward.
At HCISD, we
At HCISD, we learn that the smallest of moments can make the deepest impressions.
At HCISD, we are creating the future together.
Hi, I'm Rodo Rodriguez and I'm a partner with New York Life Insurance Company. For 170 years, New York Life has built a reputation for building some of the finest agents in the industry. I help to manage that process from day one. If you're looking to challenge yourself and build an insurance and financial service business, then I would like to show you how I can help.
And he throws it down. See you later, touchdown. Back here on Rio Sports Live, I'm Joe Bowling with you at Brownsville, St. Joseph for Midnight Madness. That's going to pretty much wrap up our broadcast here, as we just wanted to give a little taste to some of the fans out there. Our appreciation to Coach Tino Villarreal for assisting us and providing us a spot from which to broadcast this. We were running cables out here at 8:30 at night, and we found a way to get it done. And all the interviews and all of the stuff that he brings to the table. We do appreciate him bringing it here for us here. Hope you enjoyed it, fans. And again, reminding you, the games are just around the corner. We've got volleyball games that are going to be starting up in just 2 weeks. And we'll be broadcasting throughout the Rio Grande Valley, into Laredo, up into the Coastal Bend, once again this year with a ramped-up version of our schedule. We're also reminding again the fans that our Rio Sports Live magazine preview football edition is coming out before week 1. It'll be 50,000 copies distributed from Laredo to the RGV, into the Coastal Bend, and beyond. And it's free to fans. The distribution list will be posted on our social media, and we'll be giving those out free to the fans. 108 football teams, including Texas A&M Kingsville, are going to be featured with a full page dedicated to each team. There's going to be additional pages dedicated to each district. There'll be previews. There'll be photos. There'll be details about teams. It won't be your normal preview magazine or tabloid at a regional level, because of the fact that we have 108 teams all with their own unique page. It's a big deal. We are still looking for sponsors. Our deadline to go to press is August 10th. So this week alone, we will have a lot of pressing going on. Yours truly will be out there with a sales hat on, trying to make sure we have the advertising in place to cover the cost of the publication, so you, the fans, can get it free. And you can see where your team stacks up against the other teams. You can get information about other teams and a preview that is like none other when you're talking about 108 unique magazine page, and each team has their own page. Volleyball season is just around the corner. Football season is here with our practice. It's our 5th year in Rio Sports Live. Get ready for Mark Molina, for Kevin Naro, for Rudy Zamaripa Jr., for all the announcers that are part of Rio Sports Live. They're excited to be back. I'm excited to be here. Until next time, so long.